So if you ask me about economics, how to get marks in economics, all right, economics, science tech, disaster management. So people say economics answer should be, at least you should have some data. What I say is not just data. Data is the old thing now. All right. You should be using data science. What is data science? Data with a message. All right. Whatever data I will be providing it with a message. First thing. All right. So not just data, but data with a message. So how to ensure that this data, the particular data is having such a particular message? How to ensure that? This will be ensured by putting the comparative data. Let's say if you're talking about India's share of GDP in agriculture, then you can compare it with United States or Australia or China, or you can do the sectoral comparison within India. Any kind of comparison must be there, or some temporal comparison can be also be there. All right. For example, in 1951, it was around 60%. Now it is around 17%. So this is what? This is the comparative diagram. This is the message you wanted to say that, okay, this is decreasing. The share of agriculture in GDP is decreasing. All right. So this is very, very important. First lesson, first idea of presentation is to put a comparative data. All right. Do not just go for the absolute data. How many people are employed? Demographic dividend. Let's talk about demographic dividend. I'll just tell you how to present the data about demographic dividend. So demographic dividend, you know about the presentation, right? You know, demographic dividend is what? Dividend contribution by working age population, typically 15 to 59 age group. Yes, tell me.
It's not visible on the screen.
I'm not writing anything on the screen now.
Okay.
Yes. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
So you should have the comparative data, which is very, very important. So what we are going to deal today, all right, I am going to tell you in brief India's economic growth story. India's economic growth story. I'm going to talk about certain paradigms which is present in the economy, on the basis of which you can think of creating any economic structure. All right. Then we are going to discuss something about 1991 LPG reforms. All right. And what happened after that? 1991 reforms. All right. So then we are going to discuss about manufacturing story. Manufacturing sector story. And then we will be discussing about comparison of India and China story. All right. And then COVID story. And then inclusive growth. We are going to discuss about inclusive growth. And then we are talking about post-COVID, some of the post-COVID policies, very important flagship programs. Flagship schemes, all right, such as what? Ayushman Bharat, it was also present. Ayushman Bharat, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Atmanirbhar Bharat. All right. Then we are going to talk about economic slowdown. And then we are going to talk about jobless growth, which is there. Unorganized sector. Morals of economy. Morals of economy. All right. And ease of doing business. Budgeting. GDP calculation method. Inequality in India. Demographic dividend in India. All right. So we are going to discuss it one by one. Believe me, the most important thing which will be discussed in the beginning. India's economic growth story. So listen to it. It is going to give you a brief insight about the economics. From where to understand this economic growth story. What to read for understanding, have the feeling of India's growth story. 5-year plans. All right. That will be best telling you about the economic growth story. All right. When let's talk about the pre-independence. In pre-independence stage, you will have what? Mercantile capitalism by Britishers. All right. They were focusing upon free market economy. All right. There was the idea of free market economy, mercantile capitalism. But there were exploitation. The concept of deindustrialization was there. The concept of deindustrialization was there. All right. Concept of deindustrialization, home charges, all these things will be there. All right. Mercantile capitalism, deindustrialization. This is all during pre-independence period. So what will happen after pre-independence? Let's make this in a fishbone diagram. All right, this entire story. This is pre-independence 1947 and pre-independence. In pre-independence, you will have what? In pre-independence, you will have this. I told you deindustrialization, mercantile capitalism, laissez-faire. What is laissez-faire? Know about that, no? Laissez-faire is free market economy. So it is free market according to Britishers, but it was actually what? Not beneficial for Indians, for small and medium scale enterprises in India. All right. So then 1947, just after independence in 1950s, what happened? Our focus was upon agriculture. Agriculture sector was the focus. What was the focus upon agriculture sector? What was there in agriculture sector? Tell me. Yes. No, not self-reliance. At that time, you will have this subsistence type of agriculture. India was dependent upon home PLI scheme, production PL 480 scheme of United States, and through which India was getting its need. PL 480 of USA. But what happened that agriculture sector was indirectly focused. The models which were used were what? Two models: investment heavy models, which is Harrod Domal model and Nehru Mahalanobis model. So it was what? It was this investment heavy model. The focus was on trickle down effect, but trickle down did not happen. All right. Focus was on creation of growth pole. Hai. But this growth pole and trickle down did not happen, unlike in Western countries. So it failed. All right. From 1950s, then come 1960s or 1970s. In 1970s, India witnessed two wars. All right. So 1962 and 1965, India-China and India-Pakistan war. So because of those war, there will be what? There will be a lot of, famine. There will be a lot of problems which will happen in India. All right. So these wars will be resulting into India-Pakistan, India-China war. This will result into what? A lot of famine situation will be there. All right. And this created the need, this pushed India towards becoming self-reliant in agriculture sector. All right. So self-reliant in agriculture sector. So here you will have the idea of green revolution. So precisely what is the timeline of first green revolution? 1967. All right. So Mexican variety of wheat was hybridized with the our wheat, and the height of the wheat plants reduced, and because and yield also increased. So green revolution came up. Green revolution came up mainly in western states and not in eastern states. Why not in eastern states? Because of land holding, because of the social system which is there. Very fragmented land holdings were there in eastern part of India. All right. Political will was also not there. All right. So that's why it came in what? Only in western India, Punjab, Haryana region. All right. So this is about the green revolution. 1967, you will have the green revolution. All right. So 1970s, you got to know about 1970s, what happened. Then one of the very important aspect of the India's growth story in economics. In 1950s, also there was India attempted to do deficit financing by printing the currency, and because of that, you will have the hyperinflation. All right. All right. So then currency printing or adding the money in the market will not be there. This happened in 1950s. All right. What wage and means advances? What is the timeline of that? 1997. Yes, 1997. Wage and means advances. All right. After 1970s, what was happening in the world? This was the time when there was awakening in the world. All right. Women awakening, tribal awakening. All right. 1970s. Environmental awakening. Yes. 72 with Stockholm Conference. So all the awakening were happening in the world. All right. So after 1970 and 1917 was the time, 1970s were the time, or to be precise, 1980s were the time when science and technological revolution took place. It started. All right. So that resulted into what? That resulted into, in India also, you will have Rajiv Gandhi time, and during Rajiv Gandhi time, you will have increased number of mobile users, increased number of computer users. All right. Telephone and computers will be there. So this will be in 1980s. Okay. So in 1980s, what will be there? What will happen? Again, there will be large number of mobile users, mobile penetration will be there, computer users will be there. All right. Then comes the most important, and 1980s. If you talk about the governance side, what will be there? This period, now in governance, if you ask me, what is the period where the coalition politics will start? 67, state level coalition, first coalition. All right. But 1980s in center, you will have the coalition. 1980s, 1990s, and post 1990s even, in the era of 2000, you will witness the policy paralysis, policy logjam. All right. All right. Around 1967 only. नहीं, it was there in 1967. Coalition phase is started after 1967. है ना? It has nothing to do with India-China war. All right. Coalition means what? Multiple party came together to form the government. It happened first time in southern states, Kerala. So 1980s, 1990s. Before 1990s, what will be there? There will be what? Before 1990s, there will be very less growth rate. There will be twin deficit problem, fiscal deficit and current account deficit problem. All right. 1990s. '80s and 1990s, all these period will have very less growth rate. All right. Economic slowdown. All right. So fiscal deficit, twin deficit. So that's why what happened? India opened up its hand for IMF and World Bank financing. So India went to IMF and World Bank. IMF and World Bank has given the fund. All right. But those funds were not the open fund. These were tied funds. Tied funds. IMF and World Bank. These have given tied funds. And because of this tied funds, what will be there? What will be there in these tied funds? Tell me. Yes, these tied funds will be forcing India for the reform. What reform? LPG reform, liberalization, privatization, globalization reform. So India opened up its economy, although India was not ready to open its economy, but it opened up its economy in 1991 reform. All right. So what will happen? There will be certain positive things. What? Positive things is choices increased. People choices increased. All right. FDI investment increased. Forex increased. So, but there are certain negative things. Unorganized sector. It resulted into creation of unorganized sector 1991. This is very, very important. So 1991, you will have both positive things and negative things. All right. I'll come to the region. Don't worry. I'll come to that region. Okay. The whole story has to be discussed once again. Earlier, you will have, there is a famous phrase here: license, quota, permit to what? Liberalization, privatization, globalization. This is what happened in 1991. License, quota, permit regime to liberalization, privatization, and globalization. These are the reforms which are there. All right, license, quota, permit to liberalization, privatization, and globalization. Clear? Hai? All right. So what will happen after 1991? We imported all the bad things also, not just good things, but also bad things. For example, unorganized sector increased. And then we'll witness what? After 1991, 2008 economic recession. 2008 economic recession. What was the major reason for 2008 economic recession? Can somebody tell? United States. It was externally driven recession. Hai United States. Lehman Brothers,
Lehman Brother crisis.
Lehman Brothers collapse. All right. So that recession will lead to what? Huge unemployment, huge economic crisis. Now, look at this 2008. Now there is next paradigm, which is 2011. In 2011, India realized first time, because 2008 witnessed externally driven what? Huge economic recession. So India, what? बहुत सारा इफेक्ट हुआ था, है ना? Because India after 1991 we did not excel in manufacturing, we excelled in service sector. We directly jumped from this agricultural sector to service sector, and this is called what? A idiosyncratic model, or this is also called missing the Lewisian turn point. Lewis model. What is Lewis model in economics? There are two models, Lewis model and Lucas model. Lewis model and Lucas model. Lewis model says that, when excess labor of agriculture, ध्यान से समझिए, excess labor of agriculture will be going into what? Manufacturing sector. But what happened here? Excess level of agriculture went to service sector. All right. This jump was mainly because what? Bolo. This jump from agriculture sector to service sector was mainly because of India was not ready for LPG. LPG was a imposed restriction. What is the Lucas model? What do you understand by Lucas model? Lucas model is focused upon skill development first. We'll further be discussing about that. It is focused upon skill development. All right. So rather than focusing upon the physical capital, there is a need to focus upon human capital. So this is about the Lucas model. So focus upon not just the skill development, human capital. All right. So where are we now? We crossed 2008. We are in 2011. So by 2011, we realized you will have the Lehman Brothers crisis. All right. Here 2011, India will realize, okay, there is a need for what? There is a need for, and before 2008 also, India has some socialistic approach. For example, there will be very important act which will be coming in before 2008. MG Narega Act, Universal Employment Act, and even SEZ, Special Economic Zones, has been started from that time only. All right, SEZ. So SEZ was created, but SEZ was the purpose of SEZ. Look at this. The purpose of SEZ was, ध्यान समझना, export promotion, and not manufacturing. This was an island territory. For an island territory, within the national boundary. National boundary. All right. So because of export promotion, what will happen? This was the focus. But SEZ, is SEZ become successful? Huge successful? No. Some of the SEZ are successful, but mostly SEZ failed. Why fail? Why did it fail? Why did it fail? What is the reason for its failure? It was mainly for export promotion, and that is the reason why SEZs failed. All right. And most important thing is what? They were very small. SEZ was associated with land banks. SEZ was associated with tax holidays. So most of the land banks which were created by the government, state government, land is a state subject. So most of the land banks which were created by the state governments will be by what? Most of the what? Most of the land banks which were created by a state government will be by will be not very much productive, which will be isolated. So it will not have locational advantage. That is one of the reason for failure of SEZ. All right. So since SEZ failed, so in 2011, what India did, India brought up to new industrial and investment policy. Industrial and investment policy. This is a very, very important content which I am giving it to you. New industrial and investment policy. All right. So that will be what? This is also called new manufacturing policy. And this become the basis for what? Make in India. Why? Here, on the contrary, NIMZ, National Investment and Manufacturing Zone, or NMIZ, National Manufacturing and Investment Zone, will be created through this new industrial investment policy. So this was a major landmark. This was a major landmark in the this development of new industrial and investment policy, new manufacturing policy, NIMZ and NMIZ. So you'll have this Make in India after this. So new industrial and investment policy will be there in 2011. All right. And in 2000, India opened up its economy in what? 1991. Chinese opened up its economy in around 2011-12. All right. So 2011-12. So trade deficit between India and China will increase massively around $50 billion in 2012. And that is what is being continued even today. Trade deficit between India and China. $50 billion. Around 2011-12. So China, when it opened up with the help of Commonwealth Games, so then India's manufacturing capability further got the new competitor from China. Electronics market, there will be dumping by the China, which will increase, and there will be problems which will be faced by Indian economy. Again, India became what? Raw material supplier. But again, COVID came. After 2012, the major situation, what happened is COVID came. All right. In COVID, there was cut down. This cut down of global supply chain. All right. For some time, there was cut down in global supply chain. Then India again realized what? The need of Atmanirbhar, self-reliance. India again realized the need of Atmanirbhar. being self-reliant. So that's why India brought this Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant, Atmanirbhar Bharat. All right. So Ayushman Bharat, Atmanirbhar Bharat, this is the idea. So mind it, why did I tell you such a long story? I wanted to see the economics in different phases. All right. Pre-independence, what was the economic phase? From 1947 to what? 1947 to, let's say, if it is talking about agriculture. So what is the most important phase you have to talk? 1967. All right. So first green revolution will be in 1967. Then 1990s in agriculture, 1990s will be another phase. All right. And after 2010-11, you will have what? Evergreen revolution, horticulture revolution. All right. And now which is bringing green revolution to Eastern India, and horticulture plus these kind of programs which are going on. So this is about the agriculture. Let me give you the idea about manufacturing. If you have to discuss about manufacturing, what are the phases you can come up? Again, pre-Britishers time, the manufacturing was what? Textile industry based. Textile industry means what? Or cottage industry. Cottage industry is the goods produced in a cottage, in a small household. So that will be what? Cottage industry based. So you just get things from here now. Manufacturing sector, trace the manufacturing sector from pre-British period till now. So cottage industry, pre-British period, and after then the focus was not on manufacturing, but focus was on agriculture sector, primary sector. All right. So until 1970s, 1980s, we again started bringing, there was elementary focus on manufacturing. And then 1991, manufacturing was again skipped. From agriculture, we directly moved towards what? Service sector. बहुत ही मिनिमम लेवल पे नहीं, manufacturing was there, but manufacturing was not very aggressive. The GDP contribution of manufacturing remained same from industrial policy resolution from 1956 to this that industrial policy resolution will result into what? This further extension of this will be what? This new industrial and investment policy. So that's what I am telling, that manufacturing was there, but in a very limited way. All right. But post 1991, what? Service sector boom came up. Manufacturing boom. Because what happened? When India opened up without developing the human capital. Means people were not having very high skill in manufacturing. There were no entrepreneurial culture, very less entrepreneurial culture during 1990s. All right. So at that time, manufacturing could not take up, but service sector, got the boom. So after then, the major aspect in manufacturing will be what? 2011. They go. You need to understand, you should be able to create all this. Look at this. If I am talking about the manufacturing sector tracing, so pre 1947 and 1947 to, let's say here you will have 1956 and 1991. All right. And then I'm talking about 2011. All right. So here you'll have deindustrialization. Manufacturing will be what? Cottage industry based. 1956 you will have industrial revolution. So nominal focus upon manufacturing will be there. All right. And 1991, what? Service sector will be much more than that of manufacturing sector. Means service sector boom will be there. And post 2011, what will be there? Here, new industrial investment policy. Industrial investment policy will result into what?
Yes.
Here, NMIZ. Post 2020, what India is focusing upon? Coastal economic zone. What is coastal economic zone? What is coastal economic zone? This is nothing but this is the
Coastal SEZs.
coastal SEZs. Yes. That is simply means what? When coastal region, coastal area will have the advantage of its location. This is the idea India learned from what? India learned from China. All right. So this advantage will be there to India. Coastal economic zone, it will have the locational advantage. That means what? On port locations, it will have the coastal economic zones which will be there. Tamil Nadu. All right. In Tamil Nadu region, you will have the coastal economic zones which will be created. Economic zones क्या होता है? What is economic zones? It is not about making a port. It is a zone which is to promote manufacturing, which is to promote trade and business. All right. For making a port, you will have Sagarmala projects. Sagarmala project will be related to port-led development. And Sagarmala, in association with Bharatmala, is one. Bharatmala is roadways, freight corridors. Sagarmala is port-led development. So port plus hinterland development will be there. Sagarmala along with Bharatmala and along with Udan scheme. Udan scheme. So all these will be improving logistics nowadays.
Sir,
Yes, tell me.
so how is this gift city in Gujarat different from the SEZ program?
It is started as SEZ only. Gift city is only example of successful SEZ. All right.
Okay.
So gift city is not different from SEZ. It is SEZ only.
Okay.
कुछ है. Gujarat government has worked really well on that, है ना? And that is why it is successful. All right, है ना? I do not know about the composition, what industries are there in gift city, है ना? You can just check. Probably it is more services oriented. हाँ. All right. So moving ahead. So I just told you about this story. From this story, you can understand about how to, if you have to trace agriculture, you can trace it. If you have to trace manufacturing, you can trace it. If you have to trace what? Service sector, then also you can trace it, that from where service sector developed. If you have to trace India's presence in globalization. All right. You know about globalization, there is one more word, globalization. What is globalization? Global ideas present at local level. All right. Mac आलू टिक्की सुने हो? अरे मैक आलू टिक्की है. This is the idea of globalization. ठीक है. So this will be the idea. Then comes to, so this is a very important story you understood about that. All right. So you understood about LPG reforms. What happened during LPG reforms? What happened during LPG reforms? I want you to be very quick and very short, very precise in your notes, in your writing. Anna, in 1991, LPG came up, and it opened up. It came up as a guideline to be followed of what? IMF and World Bank. IMF and World Bank. All right. So license, permit, quota to LPG, and through LPG you will have what? This will happen. Service sector was in 1950s. This is 1950s, and this is 1991. So it was like this, but from here service sector will go like this. All right, and agriculture sector will be like this. During 1951, it was around 60% of GDP. All right, here now it is around 60%. It was around 17%, and it is around 17%. So this is what? This one is for agriculture, and this one for service sector. Am I clear? Making sense? So I wanted to ask you, can you create a diagram for India-China trade deficits which happened? There was trade deficit between India-China. There will be trade deficits. During 1950s, 1960s, this one is what? This one is India. Sometimes India will also be in surplus. All right. But this is the time period of 2010-11. 2011 and 2012. Here you will have how much? $50 billion trade deficit. And now also we are almost around $50 billion, $48 billion or $50 billion. So this is India. This line is for China. All right. Here you will have net trade. So when you make a diagram, essentially put that in box and give heading. Trends of trade deficit between India and China. This is very, very important. $50 billion. This is $50 billion. This is also $50 billion again. It is increasing, slightly increasing, but China is also increasing. Ultimately, it is remaining stick to $50 billion. Okay.
Sir, recently it hit the record $77 billion.
अरे ये लो, यहाँ मत दिखाओ अगर कंफ्यूजन है तो, है ना? This one is what? China, and this one is India. है ना? Here I am talking about this one is India. This one is China. All right. All right. So you should be able to draw these diagrams on the basis of this. Okay. This is a very important diagram. This is a very important diagram. Here. All right. All right. So LPG reforms. You understood about LPG reforms? So why LPG reforms lead to unorganized sector, development of unorganized sector? Again, FDI came, all right. So larger sector came up, all right. But again LPG was brought, but the Chakravyuha challenge which was there in last year economic survey, previous economic survey, was not addressed with LPG. All right. Now we are talking about the insolvency and bankruptcy bills, and now we are talking about this even gift arbitration bills which are coming up. All right. So earlier it was not there. All right. So because of it was not there, so what happened? Going to registration, small and medium scale enterprises, most of it were not registered. All right. And because of which, what happened in India, there was a presence of around 93% unorganized sector labor. Unorganized sector labor. All right. 7% will be what? Organized sector labor. Organized sector. And out of this 7%, only 2% will be what? Formally skilled. So this is the bad situation, which happened. That was one of the reasons for supporting that, because let's say small industries get themselves registered and it could not survive, then the exit policy is very difficult, and that is a liability. A company which is registered, you have to maintain the accounts and everything. That is a liability. All right. So that was also one of the reason for this. So why this unorganized sector will be there? Labor laws also very tedious, complex. So unorganized sector, what do you understand by unorganized sector? What do you understand by it?
These people are not counted in the organized.
Unorganized sector means what? This is unorganized sector. This unorganized sector will be what? They will not have social security benefits. This is the most important aspect. One line. Social security benefits. They are deprived of social security benefits. What are those social security benefits? Pension, provident funds. Pensions, provident funds. These kind of things will be there. All right. What happened? Labor laws are, so unorganized sector simply means that they are not recognized by any of the law. They are not registered sector. So what is the idea of registration? You should understand that. See, whatever I am telling and till what extent I am telling, that is only important. Okay, you will be able to solve most of the question with the help of that. Factories Act suggests that what? 10 labor, 10 person, 10 labor in case of electricity operated. Electricity operated. And 20 labors without power factory. Are you understanding? So through Factories Act, if one is registered, so the laborers will witness this. What? Labor will have this benefits of what? They will have the benefits of social security provisions. social security benefits will be there. All right. So in Factories Act, if you go in detail, you will have the safety benefit, you will have the health, welfare benefits, all these benefits will be there. All right. All right. So this is about the Factory Act. We have reached till what? Here we reached till unorganized sector. All right. So is government doing something for unorganized sector? If I ask you about the government effort of unorganized sector, bolo. Can you write some of the government efforts? Government effort को structure करना है. So government effort will be what? Constitutional, legal, policy, civil society organization, and others. Is there any constitutional thing for unorganized sector?
DPSP Article
Yes,
39.
DPSP is there. No, 39. Even article number 43. What is that?
Khadi and village industries.
So cooperatives will be created for this. Unorganized sector will come and will create cooperatives. That is for the organized sector only. Ana? So mainly in the DPSPs, it will be there. All right, through 39, 43B, promotion of cottage industries. All right, legal. Is there any statutory provision for unorganized sector?
Legally and Article 19 and
You can say that fundamental rights, but cooperatives के लिए आप DPSP ही रखिए, fundamental rights. You can say that fundamental rights also, है ना, indirectly support through article number 90, है ना, which gives right to profession, right to form cooperatives. Yes, you can say that. Correct. Profession, cooperatives, association and profession, है ना. So legal में you will have this very important unorganized workers Social Security Act 2008, and now you do not have to read the provisions of this. This is for providing the social security to unorganized sector. All right, this is very important. All right, Anna. So this is about the legal.
labor code.
Yes, you can say what labor codes. But labor codes are mostly for what? Organized sector. Labor codes are mostly for organized sector. So this one only, keep this one only. Anna, policies you will have what? बोलो.
प्रधानमंत्री कौशल विकास योजना.
इसमें तो बहुत सारा होगा. कौशल विकास योजना. There are many. पहले जो डायरेक्ट है वो बताओ ना. अटल पेंशन योजना, प्रधानमंत्री जीवन ज्योति बीमा योजना, प्रधानमंत्री व्हाट? जीवन ज्योति बीमा योजना, मानधन योजना, मानधन योजना. These are direct. All right. PM Samman Nidhi. PM, what was that? Street vendor wala. Swanidhi. गलत मत बताना. नहीं नहीं, उतना दूर जाने का जरूरत नहीं है. So this is Swanidhi. Manrega will be what? Legal, yes. Why Manrega? Manrega will have the provisions for what? Any person looking for work will go and the work has to be provided. There will be unemployment allowance provision which will also be there. And any person, unskilled work without any moderator, without any machine use, the person has to be provided the suitable work. So Manrega will be there. Civil society organization. In civil society organization, what will be there? SHO, self-help groups, Ajibikas. Ajibikas, है some self-help groups like examples, Kudumbusri. All right. Others. Is there any other thing you know about this? All right. So there are indirect effort for promotion of entrepreneurship, startup, stand up, all these things will be there. Startup India, stand up, Mudra. RPL, recognition of prior learning, apprenticeship Protsahan Yojana. Again, under this Deen Dayal Upadhyay Shramev Jayate Karyakram. This will be directly here. Deen Dayal Upadhyay Shramev Jayate Karyakram. Under this, you will have this universal account number. All right. There is provisions of PRAN also. PRAN, you know? Permanent retirement account number, universal account number, permanent retirement account number. All right. So this will be under apprenticeship Protsahan Yojana. What I wanted to say, what is this idea? I wanted to give you the idea. If you could have thought government effort without any structure, so you could have missed that. You could have come to 1 or 2 points and probably you would have missed a lot of points. All right. So think about this structure. Whenever you have to write about the government effort, let me talk about government effort in paper number 3 only, about the cyber security. Same idea, constitutional, legal, policy, civil society. What will be constitutional in cyber security? Puttaswamy case, article number 1921, privacy. तो लिखी लो एक साइड में बना करके. Government effort for improving cyber security. All right. So it will be what? Again, constitutional, article 19, article 21, Puttaswamy judgment. Honorable Justice, when you write in your paper, you should be writing like that. Honorable Justice case, Puttaswamy case. All right, which talks about right to privacy. All right. Then this will be what? This is the idea of constitutional. If we talk about the legal, what is legal? IT Act 2008. मेक ए फ्लो चार्ट, इसको भी आप लैंग्वेज में मत लिखिए, ठीक है? when it can be presented through flow chart, create a flow chart, it will have better visibility. Yes, after then, you know what happens, people will stop here. I don't want you to stop here. You just put the government effort and then in paragraph format you give the analysis of it. That will be the most beautiful answer.
After this,
you give the analysis of it. Government effort is towards, what will be the analysis? Niche. Here you will have government effort is towards bringing this unorganized sector into the organized sector, so that better regulations should be there. For effective regulations and for effective service delivery, government effort is aimed at creating this. Are you understanding my point? Providing social security benefits to unorganized sector people. This is the government effort which is there. एक आध पैराग्राफ, उससे ज्यादा आप कर नहीं पाएंगे. ये सारा जो कंटेंट है आप तो लिख चुके हैं. So I was on this what? जल्दी कर लो. Cyber Security ID Act 2008 legal. Is there any policy? Cyber security policy. National Cyber Security Policy, in which you will have the idea of critical infrastructure, protection of National Critical Infrastructure Program. And then you will have this what? CDAC working 24/7, CERT in working 24/7. CERT in. अरे ये सब पढ़े हो कि नहीं पढ़े हो कभी? पढ़े हो ना? पीडी में ही पढ़े होंगे. पढ़े हो, सुने हो नाम? देख लो. Not digital accounting. Center for Development of Advanced Computing. है ना? And then there was one government initiative for what? Removing the malware from the computers. Swachhata, DG Swachhata campaign, cyber hackathon, DG Swachhata campaign, cyber hackathon. Are you understanding my point? Yes, then there will be some civil service organization also. Tell me some civil service organization which is present in this. Yes, you can talk about telecommunication union. And there are certain initiatives by this big giants like Microsoft, Facebook. All these will be the part of, will be doing some kind of voluntary activity to protect this cyber frauds. Others, what will be international? What will be international? India, United States cooperation for training in cyber security. India, United States cooperation for training in cyber security. So that is what? That is the. So look at this, how beautifully you have explained government effort on cyber security. Believe me, I'll just cover it here only. Effort on cyber security. Why I am giving you this content and after then this content? Understand what is the thing which I wanted to tell you, which is very, very important. That is the structure of the government effort. Are you understanding? So because of this structure, I have given you 2 examples how to utilize this particular structure in a particular way, and you are going to write 15 points in just one go. All right. So cyber security, if you talk to me about cyber security or cyber crimes, it will be cyber war, cyber espionage, or cyber terrorism, or cyber crimes, you can write here. Three angles. Huh? Cyber crimes are the petty crimes. Petty crimes. Cyber security, huh? Yes, put that cyber security. This is not just what I have created. This is government of India thinking. All right. Cyber security has three important pillars to be addressed. And here you'll have the constitutional, legal, this. So 1921 Puttaswamy judgment. All right. Legal, you will have this 2008. Policy, you will have national cyber security policy, in which you will have cyber critical infrastructure protection program. So, and then you'll have CDAC and certain. Then I told you about hackathon. And then I told you about what? Cyber hackathon, and then I told you about cyber Digi campaign. And then policy, and then I told you about what? Civil society organization. Civil society organization, telecom unions. Okay, Facebook groups. Facebook, Melinda Gates Foundations. All right. And then others, you'll have the India's Department of Home Affairs. Department of Home Affairs collaborating with Department of Homeland Security. Against, Homeland Security. Kiska? United States ka. Again, India is the net security provider. Ana? So one aspect of net security provider is what? The cyber security also. All right, it is not just the physical security, but cyber security also. At least बोलने में तो है ना. India is the net security provider in Indian Ocean region. So what do you mean by net security provider? First, secure yourself and then secure others. That is net security providers. It is not like that we will not be secure and then net security. So net security provider will have the domain like thinking like what? Piracy, control on piracy. All right. We'll have thinking like control on this cyber security also. One aspect is cyber security also. All right. Then come to COVID. What happened because of COVID? So I am very much expecting a question about the COVID, which should be talking about the spreading pattern of COVID. Spread pattern of COVID. Have you heard of this word, day zero vulnerability? Day zero दोनों माने same ही, day zero day vulnerability. Cyber security also, yes. Ransomware. This is for cyber security. You write the answers. These can be used as what? Examples. Zero day vulnerability or what? This ransomware, Trojanware, malware. All right, let's talk about COVID. What is the spread pattern did you witness in COVID? Her computer, every system is vulnerable. Every system which is connected is vulnerable. More connectedness, more vulnerability. If you want to protect the vulnerability, then that means what? That means you'll have to focus upon awareness. Awareness. Most people are vulnerable because of their illiteracy. People are not mature enough and they will go into dark web. And then if you're going into dark web, your system will be hacked. Your credit card will be hacked. Are you understanding my point? Because one of the very important aspect of warfare, in paper 3 only, you will have the questions like, what are the internal security and external security threats? All right. So I'll come to COVID first. What are the internal security and external security threats? So there you can create an India map. Can you create India map? Can you show internal security and external security threat? Left wing extremism from Pasupati to Tirupati. All right. Communalism almost in all over India. But you give the example, famous example where it happened. For example, Gujarat. For example, Bihar also in Bhagalpur region. All right. For example, in Uttar Pradesh, Saharanpur region. Muzaffarpur riots, Muzaffarnagar riots. So these are the examples, you give it. All right. So this is also one of the threat. In Northeast, you will have insurgency threat. Insurgency means demand for a separate state, identity politics based threats. Yes, that is external security threat. India is sandwiched between Golden Crescent and Golden Triangle. That is external security threat. But when you are making that, do not write it. Try to, whenever I talk about this spatial extent, try to make the diagram, map. Do not write it. Here you will have Golden Crescent and here you will have Golden Triangle. All right. So Golden Crescent will have what? Afghanistan, Pakistan and Iran. Here you will have Thailand, Laos and Vietnam. Cambodia भी लिख सकते हैं, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. ठीक है? And here you will have this what? Let's talk about internal security threat. So Pasupati to, this is Nepal, Pasupati to Tirupati. This is Pasupati to Tirupati. This is what? Left wing extremism. I told you about Gujarat, Bihar, some Muzaffarnagar here. So these will be what? These will be communal violence. Northeast, in Northeast you will have here Greater Naga Limb. This is what? Insurgency. Here you will have what? Here in Bodoland, Kachar region, you will have this what? Son of the soil theory. Kokrajhar region. Son of the soil theory. Identity politics is there. Why I am making this diagram? Because I wanted to show you this. When you are making this diagram, this is the cyber security threat. Which is not having a particular specific location. Cyber security threat is threat without location. People of Bangalore are disturbed, and the origin point of that cybersecurity message, that's our cyber message, is Pakistan. Are you understanding my point? So this is safe because of its safe. Okay. So that's why I'm telling you like this, how to make the diagram. And this is the loaded diagram. You can just fill a little bit more also, like in Tamil region, because of the Sri Lanka, Tamilian nationalism is growing up. All right. So that Tamilian nationalism will be considered under which part? Insurgency. Where to show that? You must be ऐसे भेग मत दिखाना कभी भी, ऐसे वेग मत दिखाना, ये देखो कि ऐसे यहाँ पे ये हो गया. Do not do that. ठीक है? You should be showing it like this. This is the region where you'll have the Tamilian insurgency. Never ever try to be as far as accurate. Never ever try to create a vague diagram, vague map. It is not required. You can talk about Kashmir, Aksai chain, either Aksai chain, either POK region. These two are external security threats. Internal security threats also. Terrorism also. Yes, you can write about that. There are so many things. We will discuss about that. Don't worry. Left-wing extremism, Naxalism. This is what? Left-wing extremism. This is a loaded diagram. I'm telling you, if you learn to reduce your paragraph into a diagram, so that is going to give you a marks. If you are asked about COVID spread pattern, this is my bet this year. Believe me, this is the question which I think will be asked. COVID spread pattern. So how do have this COVID spread pattern? This is person 0. It is infecting another person. I'm just giving you, see why I am giving you this structure, this diagrams. I'm just giving you idea. This is person 0. And or first person who has been infected. And this one is what? The chain reaction. But is it about the spread pattern? What do you understand by pattern? I have already discussed it with you. What do you understand by pattern? Shape and changing shape. What kind of shape we are talking about? Not just a temporal pattern, but also a spatial pattern. Spatial pattern and temporal pattern. So isn't it looking like a pattern? Tell me, isn't it looking like a pattern? Yes, it is a pattern. First pattern is this. Second pattern is what? Let me make you the temporal pattern. So now to the first wave. This will be first wave. This will be second wave. This will be third wave. And this will be fourth wave. Are you understanding my point? Can you show me, can you remember, and on the basis of that, can you tell me the timeline? कब आया था फर्स्ट वेव? अप्रैल, हाँ अप्रैल 2019 20, हाँ 20. So April 2020, है ना? And then second wave came in August, July, August. By July, August it was down, है ना? फिर again March it came up, है ना? It was the most dangerous wave. So March 2021, all right? And third wave came up very recently, December 2021, all right? And fourth wave which is going on now, okay? So now it is June 2022, all right? And this is what? This is about the intensity of deaths, or intensity. Intensity itself means what? Intensity of pandemic itself means it is how much it is costing upon life and property. Are you understanding my point? What is this? This is the temporal pattern. So do not just leave it naked, है ना? You write it here, temporal pattern. Of COVID spread. If I talk to you about the spatial pattern, can you tell me about the spatial pattern? Create a world map. In 30 seconds, you should be able to draw a world map. So take up this China, Wuhan, and first came up in first wave was witnessed in China, Chinese lockdown, and then in Europe, then United States. United States was the last one to be locked down. All right. So from Wuhan, it went into, this is the first wave, first transfer. Entire Europe. All right. So this is the first transfer, and after then you will have the what? Here, almost same time. Second wave, second time it will be transferred. Okay, and there will be multiple contacts. This is the you can divide it into the primary transfers and secondary transfers. Primary will be what? Going from Wuhan to Europe and United States, and secondary will be from United States to Europe. So now this become the center. To be very precise, Italy, Britain, these will become the center. All right, Spain, and then it will come to India. The last one to be infected by it is what? Brazil. And this what? This is 3 dash 3 dash 4 dash 4 dash. Brazil, Africa, isolated countries. So Africa has very less deaths. You know about that? Okay. And when you have created this diagram, what is this diagram about? Nothing. You are not able to represent anything. So you tell about Wuhan. First tell about the location, which you can mark it here. All right. And then you tell about this streams. So primary what? Primary spread from the origin region. From origin region. All right. So this one also is primary spread. You just do that. The primary spread, and then you will have this secondary spread. This one is what? Secondary spread. Secondary spread from Europe and other infected regions.
India and Europe से यहाँ
Infected regions.
second
All right. So when you have created this, that means what? You can analyze a little bit of things. Examiner will understand. You can analyze a little bit of things. You have got some sense of understanding, some sense of presentation with respect to this particular question. Are you understanding my point? Awesome. Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
Dekho, my point is what? Learn the idea. If you are missing about the content, that is also okay, but learn the idea. Idea should not be missed. All right. All right. And now I think there are so many diagrams which I have discussed, which I have talked about. Now you can, at least you must be having certain levels of confidence from inside. Okay, now you can create certain diagrams. All right. All right. So in COVID, let's say what government did to deal with the COVID. COVID as a pandemic. COVID was a pandemic. All right. So what government did? So there will be some what? Restrictive measures, restricting the spread related measures, and then there will be what? Some mitigating the effects related measures. Restricting the spread, mitigating the effects. इस तरीके से दो structure. Mind it, if the question asks about pandemic COVID, so more you will have to talk about that COVID aspect. All right. And it is asking about the lockdown, then you will have to talk about the lockdown. These two are two different things. Lockdown will have more economic impact. It is the reaction to the COVID. It is the next step of the COVID. All right. But COVID is a pandemic. Are you understanding my point? I'll give you the question. And I know that there 99% of the people fail. कोविड को पैंडेमिक समझ लेते हैं, पैंडेमिक को कोविड समझ लेते हैं. सॉरी, कोविड को लॉकडाउन बोल देते हैं, लॉकडाउन को कोविड. दोनों में थोड़ा सा आंसर में डिफरेंस होगा, लैंग्वेज में. द पॉइंट्स विल बी सेम बट लैंग्वेज विल बी चेंजिंग. So can you write about this restricting the spread? What did it do? Lockdowns, social distancing, hygiene norms. Lockdown, social distancing, hygiene norms. Hygiene norms.
closure of the economy, मतलब पूरा distancing. नहीं,
social distancing. Social distancing is an important aspect. So write social distancing also. So this is Arogya Setu. So that is technological. Arogya Setu. Data collection. There are different techniques for rapid sampling, random sampling, testing, and isolating. Testing and random testing and isolation. फ्री टेस्टिंग से क्या लेना देना? देखो, फ्री टेस्टिंग इस क्वेश्चन के कंटेक्स्ट में है क्या? वो तो थोड़ा ये हो गया ना कि वो सोशल उसका एस्पेक्ट हो गया. ठीक है. टेस्टिंग एंड दिस आइसोलेशन इज ओके फॉर दिस कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ दिस क्वेश्चन. आगे बढ़ो. ठीक है. इधर टू मिटिगेट द इफेक्ट्स के लिए क्या होगा? यस, वैक्सीनेशन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. वैक्सीनेशन, आत्मनिर्भर भारत, गरीब कल्याण योजना.
Atmanirbhar package.
आत्मनिर्भर पैकेजेस, पीएम गरीब कल्याण योजना, आयुष्मान भारत,
PM cares.
पीएम केयर्स फंड,
PM cares fund. PM cares fund. But people will say,
पीपल क्यों रहेगा, पीएम केयर्स, पीपल इनिशिएटिव क्यों रहेगा, वो मोदी जी के अकाउंट में जाता है, तो उससे क्या हो गया, दैट विल बी यूज्ड फॉर मिटिगेटिंग द हार्मफुल इफेक्ट्स ऑफ दिस कोविड ओनली. चलो आगे आओ, मूविंग अहेड. ठीक है, सो दिस इज अबाउट कोविड. यू नो अबाउट द इफेक्ट्स, यू विल बी राइटिंग अबाउट द इफेक्ट्स ऑफ कोविड, है ना. I just wanted to give you certain structure, not moving without any structure. Let's talk about the inclusive growth now. Inclusive growth. क्यों? हेवी स्टफ हो रहा है, इसमें क्या हैवी हुआ, मजा आना चाहिए. यस, ब्रेक चाहिए. चलो, इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ का एक बहुत अच्छा डायग्राम, उसके बाद ब्रेक. ठीक है, व्हाट डू मीन बाय इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ? सी, इफ यू आर आस्क्ड ए क्वेश्चन ऑन इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ, व्हाट इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग? देखो, लर्न द आइडिया that even if you are preparing some topic by yourself, so first I am thinking about that topic, what is the most important thing which you are going to use in the examination. So if it is inclusive growth, what is the most important thing you are going to use in the examination? Definition of inclusive growth. Definition of inclusive growth. So for definition of inclusive growth, you should have one diagram, very clear diagram. Where people write about some language, you should be writing about some diagram. All right. No. I'll give you the introduction also. Do not worry. ठीक है, पहले जो सबसे important चीज है उसको करो. Look at this diagram. Inclusive growth. All right, we'll have human capital, social capital, environmental capital, and physical capital. All right. You should have the affordability, 4A, affordability, availability, accessibility, and you'll have this awareness. Affordability means what? Cost effective service delivery. Cost effective service delivery. All right. Availability is 24/7 available. Awareness is capacity building. And accessibility is ease of access. Look at this. How beautifully you have created the diagram for inclusive growth. What do you understand by the idea? Human capital, physical capital, environmental capital, social capital. Physical capital is the amount, the money, the cash which you have. All right. Environmental capital, the awareness, the the environmental consciousness, the benefits of environment which is reaching till you. So that is what? Environmental capital. So similarly, human capital is what? Human related capital, education, skills, health, all these will be the aspect of human capital. Social capital is what? Sum total of all the interactions in society. Sum total of all the interactions in society. All right. So this is the diagram which you can create. Let's remember one of the definition also. Hai. Although you can create a definition from here also. Yes. Money, land, all the physical capital which is present, tangible assets, tangible capital. Human capital, health, education, skills. Social capital is sum total of all the interactions in society. Environmental capital is what? Environmental awareness, environmental benefits. All right. So now, mind it. Although you can create the introduction from here also. This is a very much loaded content. So, although you can create this from here, but I want you, because inclusive growth, you can expect, you can use this at any place. So that's why I wanted to give you one standard definition of inclusive growth. United Nations Development Program. Yes, it can be used. Yes, in essay also you can use diagrams, but not too much heavy diagrams. 1 or 2 diagrams is okay in entire essay. These are content heavy things. Are you understanding? Means I am trying to shrink everything into a one small thing. Do not write more, write less. Develop this thinking. When you come to write answers, ना आपके दिल में जो आता है, इमोशन में बह करके उसके बाद लिखना शुरू कर देते हैं. जो मन में आता है लिखते चले जाओ. ये कभी नहीं सोचते कि एग्जामिनर को हम प्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं कुछ. You change your thinking, present yourself. You are not just writing, you are presenting yourself to the examiner. All right. So do that. United Nations Development Program has defined inclusive growth as the process and result of all groups of people participating in the organization of growth and benefiting equally from it. Are you understanding my point? So this is about the inclusive growth, which is indicated by this United Nations Development Program. So what I gave, I just did not means it is not only about the inclusive growth definition. I gave you a structure which will be useful at many places. 4A things: awareness, accessibility, affordability, availability. All right. You talk about the banking services also. It should have this 4A. Health, accessibility, health services should be accessible, available, aware, and environmental services. All the services should be like this. These all are also 4 types of capital. Yes. So you just understand this structure, that this 4A thing can be used at multiple places. Now remember that education also. Are you understanding my point? Are you understanding my point? So I'm focusing upon creating the human capital, है by making you aware, accessible, available, content availability, and this what? Affordability. ठीक है, content affordability. एक बार या 2 बार, ऐसा नहीं कि हर जगह पे यही लगा देना है, दौड़ाया जाएगा, ऐसा ऐसा. I will give you 25 things, don't worry. ठीक है, this is just the beginning, this is just the first class, just wait for it. ठीक है, ठीक है, okay, so you can take the break now. ठीक है, and after the break we will resume in 5 minutes. Online people, do you have any question? Do you have any question? You can ask me in the meanwhile. मौसम समझ में आ रहा है?
हाँ सर, समझ में आ रहा है. But sir, I had this doubt.
हाँ.
कि like if supposing the question, so we diagram and give one line of explanation, maybe one of the definitions by UNDP. So like how to structure the further content. As in, since we've used up all the points, so we need to expand on these points, or how?
No. Generally, it will not be just one unit question. It will not just be about inclusive growth.
Yes.
It will be asking you about the challenges of inclusive growth, or it will be asking about how far do you think that in India the present government's moral is towards the inclusive growth. That means what?
Right.
There will be some aspect of content which will be available. This is not the all the content for inclusive growth. Apart from that, there will be content which will be you have to provide. This is just one side of your copy, which should be this diagram.
Right.
Are you understanding my point?
Yes, sir.
So and these are very, very important things. These things cannot be missed, and you do not prepare anything which you cannot use. Do not read anything which you cannot use from now on. If you wanted to get a very good rank, do not read much, but analyze, but think on it much. How to use that, how to create content in the crisp way. First, prepare for something. When you get some new question, then also you are ready with some content which you can use it there.
Yes,
sir. My point.
Yes, sir.
Develop it everywhere. All right. So see you in 5 minutes. So let's begin now. Let us begin. I wanted to give you one more topic, which is very, very important. I think anytime it can be asked in your examination. That is about Ayushman Bharat. All right, let's talk about health. If you are asking me, sir, which one is the one most important thing in health? That is Ayushman Bharat. From where you can get the question, you can expect the question. So if you are getting Ayushman Bharat, it's a very ambitious program of government of India. All right. But not to be written. Do not write it is very ambitious program of government of India. Okay. So this should not be the part of your notes. ऐसा नहीं कुछ भी बोले सब लिख लेना है ठीक है आयुष्मान भारत there are two aspects of it, health and wellness center, and second is what? National Health Protection Scheme. All right. So here you will have the diagram, scope of diagram. It is what? It is preventive in nature. Health and Wellness Center is preventive in nature. And it is for secondary ailment and tertiary ailment treatment. All right. So under National Health Protection Scheme. So Health and Wellness Center will be on the basis of what? It will be on the basis of hub and spoke model. Village 1, Village 2, Village 3, Village 4, Village 5, Village 6, and Village 7, like that. So this is what? Hub and spoke model. All right. Prevention is better than cure. So focus will be on yoga. Focus will be on exercise. Focus will be on diet. So this is Health and Wellness Center. And National Health Protection Scheme, a family, it is what? It is family based. Coverage will be for what? How much? 5 lakhs. Earlier there was limitation that only 5-member family can avail this facility. But now this limitation is gone. Now any family, any member family can avail that. But is this Ayushman Bharat universal scheme? Is this universal in nature? That is one of the criticism. What next after Ayushman Bharat? Universal health access to all. Right to health. That is the draft health policy. Draft health policy means the future vision of the health infrastructure, health system which is there. That will be what? Right to health as the idea. Universal health coverage in this is not there. But understand, in Odisha, you will have the Biju Health Protection Scheme. All right. That Biju Health Protection Scheme will be what? Having the universal health coverage. That's why, Odisha, some of the state governments did not implement this Ayushman Bharat because they stated that their health schemes are better than that of Ayushman Bharat. Are you understanding my point? This is Ayushman Bharat. Rajasthan is also having the universal health coverage program. All right. So this is about Ayushman Bharat. Rest of the things which comes, you know, about health. If you're asked about the biggest problem in health and education, you start with the contribution in GDP. Very less. Anna, very less contribution. How much in health? Around 1%. It is
1%.
spending on health. Sorry, spending on health. Around 1%. But in education, it is around 3%. So that is the bad state. You start with that. Then in health also, you will have the infrastructural facility. This in infrastructural facility, you can talk about the population to doctor ratio, 300 beds hospital. Recent, you can start these kind of questions with what? The recent example of COVID crisis, COVID pandemic has created hue and cry and has shown the weaknesses of health system. अब देखो एक मुझे अभी याद आ रहा है, although I will be telling you about this in essay also, है ना? I'll tell you about the story of health. ठीक है? There was one person in West Bengal. All right. His mother actually died because of lack of ambulance service. है ना? So he decided to help everybody with the ambulance. So he did not have much money. So how he started? He started bike ambulance. All right, bike ambulance service. So this bike ambulance service became very popular. Now he is getting funding from a lot of bike companies, and he is popularly called as ambulance dada. All right. So ambulance dada is there. Now this is the role of civil society organization in this health. But I'll say to present it in this way, because whenever you get the question on health, it is essential that you will have to write the critical angle. All right, not just the positive side but critical side also. So the story of ambulance dada is very fascinating, very inspiring, but it is indicating towards the sad state of health condition in India. It is indicating towards the failure of government. Are you understanding how you created a curiosity and controlled the mind of examiner, reader? All these things will be there, a part of infrastructure. So this is Ayushman Bharat. Most of the things after that will be through the health only. All right. Atmanirbhar Bharat. What was the focus of Atmanirbhar Bharat? Atmanirbhar Bharat. So Atmanirbhar Bharat is slightly factual. I'll just be giving you about this. Can you see that? This is Atmanirbhar Bharat. Here you must understand, the scheme itself have got the structure. The scheme itself have got the structure: economy, infrastructure, system, demography, and demand. है ना? कुछ बना सकते हो इससे, है ना? DDSIE और इसको T कर दो. dead IT. देखो, this is D E I S or D or D. बना लो, always, once and forever it will be remember. Right? So D dead IT. Are you understanding? 5 things, once and forever. All right. So infrastructure, one represents, and there will be what? Bold reforms. Bold reforms will be supply chain, tax system, laws, human resources, and financial system. All right. देखो, I am just telling you the idea how to remember that. F halt, HALT. देखो, हाँ, so नहीं, I just wanted to shrink it further. You just remember that our है ना, F halt, or you can FAULT. So no, F halt is okay, है ना? Just remember F halt. So 2 things, dead ID and F halt. Atmanirbhar Bharat is over. Are you understanding? So it is now easier to remember. It is now easier to remember. I wanted to give you the technique. Learn how to read first. Yes, this is a very beautiful diagram. If it is asking about Atmanirbhar Bharat, you will have to talk essentially about 5 pillars of self-reliant India, and this diagram is very, very important. Under this diagram itself is the complete content on this. And then what? After Atmanirbhar Bharat, you will have PLI scheme. So various PLI schemes we have. PLI schemes will be what? When you are tracing about manufacturing, no. So manufacturing next step is after Make in India, after Atmanirbhar Bharat, this PLI scheme. So you know about PLI scheme. PLI scheme will be there in electronics, in textile sector, in food processing. Different sector wise PLI schemes are there. Electronics, textile, telecom, yes, food processing. So why PLI scheme? An effort of making India self-reliant, an effort of making the brand made in India. All right. So made in India. Are you understanding my point? So PLI schemes will be there. So then I will be talking about one very important thing which can be used at any place. Different models of growth which is there in India. Models of growth. है ना? You know about Harrod-Domer model and Nehru-Mahalanobis model. These two are very conventional models focused upon what? Trickle down theory. What is trickle down? Trickle down, which failed. It was what? Investment-led model. All right, it was investment-led model. Heavy investment lead to what? Trickle down, but trickle down did not happen in India because of the diversity which is present. Then I discussed about two more models, all right, which I have already discussed. I am just writing the name. Lewis model, Lucas model. I'm going to give you the another concept, all right, of Bhagavati model. Bhagavati model. This is not Justice Bhagavati. This is Bhagavati economist, and sane model. There is a conflict between Bhagavati sane model. You know about that, Bhagavati model and sane model. You know, you do not know about that. So I'll tell you. This is India. This is India. Sane is which sane? This is Amartya Sen. This is Amartya Sen. So have you heard of this idea, capability approach? Capability approach. Have you heard of this idea, capability approach?
Yes,
Capability
sir.
approach.
Developing the human.
Yes, by focusing
Yes,
upon
human
human capital. So if we go to Kerala, Tamil Nadu region, this region, you will have the focus upon which model? Sane model. But if you go to Gujarat region, you will have this model. Which model? More dominance of Bhagavati model. Bhagavati model will suggest, what Bhagavati model will suggest? Bhagavati model will suggest about the, again, investment, bringing private sector led growth, investment and private sector led growth, and this investment will take care of human capital. That is the idea of Bhagavati model. Example is Gift City in Gujarat. That is investment heavy model. But go about the indicators, go about the indicators of what? Human capital, human development. You will find that Kerala, literacy, health, all these things are better. So in terms of human capital, southern states are better. So this is what? Sane model, Amartya Sen model. If I talk about what will be the, whether we should follow the sane model or we should follow the Bhagavati model, there should be a combination of both. Is that being followed anywhere? Yes, the states which have got higher growth rates like Bihar, UP, okay, although it is not in practical, but at least theoretically, they follow both the model, the mixture of both, focus upon the development of education also or development of investment also. Okay, so both models, Bihar, UP regions. So here you'll have double-digit growth rate, competitive cooperative federalism. Are you understanding my point? किसका? Come back. Okay. So this is the different models of economic growth which is there. Are we in laissez-faire model? And do we need a laissez-faire model? Laissez-faire means what? Free economy. So it's a classical economist model. Free market economy is a classical economist model. It was introduced by Adam Smith. You know about the Adam Smith and the invisible hand? Have you heard of that? Have you heard of that? Adam Smith and the invisible hand. Adam Smith is a what? Classical economist, who stated about the free market economy, and it stated that market will take care of all the needs of the society, also human capital also, है. So what will work in the market? Market will flourish, and the invisible hand will take care of society and the human capital. Are you understanding? But trickle down, the invisible hand, these all things did not work in India. There is one. Yes, tell me. That invisible hand, the word it was used, है, but that was used in context of the current kind of model which is there. Yes, the invisible hand is for upliftment of what? This social sector, the human capital. Are you understanding? There is one more model which we used, growth pole model. Are you know about growth pole? So do we focus upon growth pole model? Yes, so growth pole model was focused, but it also did not work very well, because it was also, there was a growth pole, and because of this growth pole there has to be what? Trickle down. Trickle down, है, this trickle down will not happen, है. This trickle down never happened. So growth pole model largely failed. So what happened then? Then growth center model. This is actually applicable, more applicable. Growth pole model was based upon economic territory, large economic territory. So that's why it was failing. Growth center model was based upon economic space, which is small. So that's why even at the marketplace, like what? Like Mega Mart, this growth center model will be valid. There will be growth centers, and this growth centers will be helping in flourishing backward and forward linkages, like that. ग्रोथ पोल और ग्रोथ सेंटर में, ग्रोथ पोल बड़ा स्केल पे होता है. वन ग्रोथ पोल विल बी बेस्ड अपॉन इकोनॉमिक टेरिटरी, और थोड़ा और डिटेल में, उतना डिटेल में जाने का जरूरत नहीं है जीएस में, ठीक है. बट ग्रोथ पोल में विल बी व्हाट? It will focus upon dynamic propulsive industry. It was, the idea was given by Perux and Bonville. Okay. So it is focusing upon dynamic propulsive industry. It is focusing upon huge backward and forward linkages. It is focusing upon trickle down effect. But it did not happen because its assumption, its fundamental assumption is homogeneity, and India will have what? Diversity. But Mr. R.P. Singh has given the idea of growth center. Growth center will be, you can say, smaller growth poles. I told you, even at the big markets, supermarkets, growth center will be what? Valid. So इतना जरूरत नहीं, बस आपको मॉडल का नाम जानना है, ठीक है. अगर इकोनॉमिक मॉडल्स के बारे में क्वेश्चन पूछ दे, so you should be ready with more content than that of others. That is different. You talk to me in industries. What is dynamic propulsive industries? Propulsion nahi, propulsive. Dynamic propulsive industry. Propulsion means what? Pushing forward. So dynamic propulsive industries will be highly integrated with backward and forward linkages. So are we following this growth pole model in Delhi NCR planning? Yes, it is being followed. The utility of Delhi NCR or Bangalore planning or Mumbai Pune planning will have this growth pole model. All right. Then comes to budgeting, GDP calculation and HDI calculation. So did I talk about GDP calculation? The new GDP calculation, and it has been asked last year. So this year there are very less chances that they're going to ask it. But I'll just give you a quick overview. All right. Now earlier the data was coming from ASI, Annual Survey of Industries. Now data is coming from MCA 21. What? GDP calculation, new method. From ASI to MCA 21, first thing. Second thing is, earlier it was production based. Now it is what? Now it is consumption based, consumption oriented. All right. Earlier base year was what? 2006, 2007. Now base year is what? 2011, 12. All right. Earlier there was no concept of product tax and production tax. Was not there. Now we have this thing into calculation, product tax and production tax. Last year this question was asked directly from what we have taught, production tax. Earlier the data was not taken from PFRDA, IRDA, SEBI, etc, etc. Data now also considered. All right. Now focus upon end-to-end digitalization. All right. So this is about the GDP calculation, how this method has changed. Are you understanding my point? End-to-end digitalization, end-to-end computerization. Understood now? This question is most likely not to be asked this year, but I wanted to tell you about HDI calculation, how HDI calculation has changed. You know about that, na? 3 parameters. What are those 3 parameters? Education, health, and per capita income. In education, what will be there? 2 things. Yes, average years of schooling for 25 years age group. What is next? Expected years of schooling. In health, what is that? Health is life expectancy, no? And per capita income, gross national income. Earlier it was on GDP, so sorry, gross domestic income. Yes, the term is sorry, standard of living. So here gross national income will be there. All right. And based on all these 3 indicators, you will have the calculation of what? The indexes, and there will be HDI will be what? Geometric progression of all these 3: education index, health index, and standard of living index. Here, mind it, in standard of living, since GNI is huge, so here logarithmic value will be used. Here logarithmic value will be used, log value. So this can be asked. This can be asked, and you know about that. You have read about that in PT when you get about HDI calculation. All right, the new SDI calculation. Like last year, they asked you about new GDP calculation. All right, so new SDI calculation, you should be creating this chart. Earlier, the base values for all these indicators will be fixed. Now it is what? Observed value. Now it is observed value. All right, so this is about SDI calculation. All right, so okay, with this, we are going to end it here only for today. All right. For today, we are going to end it here. And from next class onwards, that is from tomorrow. Tomorrow is what? Ethics, na?
Ethics.
We are going to be fast. All right. We will not be so slow. भेज दूंगा. ठीक है. So all right, किसी को कुछ पूछना है? If you have anything to ask, you can ask me. All right, so see you all tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.